good, Commanders fans? Hope everybody had a good Christmas as always. Just got a couple things to touch on here. I'll probably be making a video later about Marshawn Lattimore and whatever his status comes out on the injury report. They did say he was on the side field, him and De'Ami Brown and Andrew Wiley. So I'll probably make a separate video just talking and dissecting that injury update. But first, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays as well. For the people who don't celebrate Christmas and other holidays, Happy Holidays. Shout out to BetUS as well. These are some of the things that I got for Christmas. My aunt got me this. She got me this, which is really cool. I'm hanging this up in my man cave here, probably behind me or something like that. Really cool. And my kids, they will love that as well. And she got me this nice shirt. Nike shirt. Nice dry fit, everything. All black, which is my favorite color. Then I got the Jaden Daniels shirt right here. Jaden Daniels t-shirt, all black. Name on the back, really tough. JD5, rookie of the year, rookie of the week for sure. As always, got these loafers from my in-laws, and then I think that's about it. Oh yeah, I got this hoodie for Christmas too. This really nice hoodie. That's a nice hoodie right here. But yeah, my in-laws got me the shoes right here, the nice slippers and whatnot. So shout out to them. Shout out to my aunt, and I got this water bottle right here. So this is the Commanders gear that I got. So good stuff. And this one, it says the Super Bowl. Yeah, 3-time Super Bowl champions right here. So yeah, if you can see, 3-time Super Bowl champions right here. So I know it doesn't say the skins on here, but it says Commanders. I know maybe like the newer hoodies might actually have like the logo because it has the football team helmet right here. Then it has Commanders and then Commanders again. And then maybe, I mean, it would be a bit much to put the skins logo down here, but maybe like some of the newer hoodies, they may just have like Commanders, football team helmet, and then like the skins logo right here or something like that. Maybe in the future since they're bringing it back and whatnot. So, but quickly, I just wanted to go over some things. So they did sign wide receiver Chris Moore, and then I want to go in and cook Nick Sirianni because I want to talk about that just a little bit. But they signed wide receiver Chris Moore to the practice squad. So he was a 4th-round pick back in 2016, I believe, by the Baltimore Ravens. And right now he is 31 years old. Yeah, he was a 4th-round pick by the Baltimore Ravens in the 2016 NFL Draft. 31 years old, 6'1", 200 pounds. He's a deep threat receiver for the most part. So he can really get vertical and get down the field. There was a big catch that he had against the Steelers where he, with Joe Flacco, I know it was years ago, but where he cut down the lead and helped out with that. With the Titans and Texans, so he's somewhat of a late bloomer as well. If you look at his numbers, I'm not going to hype the guy up because he's on the practice squad, but with De'Ami on the sideline, and they have KJ Osborne, so I had the question of like, why are they still adamantly looking after receivers? And of course, we do need another receiver. James Crowder stepped up big time. Olamide stepped up big time. They have KJ Osborne coming. They have Luke McCaffrey on the roster. So I always love for them to add talent for sure. And they have Bryson Tremaine on the practice squad and Mitchell Tinsley. So I'm never dismissing them. I always want them to add wide receiver talent. Anything to help out your young quarterback, even though there's only 2 games left, you have to help him out as much as you can. I'm not saying Chris Moore's going to move the needle or anything. He may not even touch the field. We signed KJ Osborne, and he still hasn't even touched the field yet. Who knows if he's going to play against the Falcons? That's a big update that we're waiting on as well because, we need any help that we can get. I know Odell was out there. A lot of people were championing for Odell. I wasn't banging on the table for Odell, but would you rather sign Odell or this guy Chris Moore? Maybe you have an argument there. But Chris Moore, I'm not gonna poo-poo his stats at all. So you look in 2023, he had 424 receiving yards for 22 catches for 19 yards per catch, which is pretty darn good. Also in 2022, he had 48 catches for 548 yards. He had a long catch of 52 yards and a long catch of 49 yards in 2023. 2 touchdowns in 2022, 2 touchdowns with Houston. In 2021, 21 catches for 227 yards. 2020, he played in 3 games and that's it. 2019, he played in 14 games and 1 start. Didn't do much for the Ravens. His best year with the Ravens was his second year. 18 catches for 248 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was a special teams ace where he picked up 2 fumbles and scored 2 touchdowns on special teams for picking up blocked punts. So he does have a knack for being around the football. He also had a nice punt return against the Bengals and then scored a touchdown a couple plays later that rewarded him. Joe Flacco threw him a touchdown pass in that game where he had 3 touchdowns on the season in 2017. His rookie year didn't do much at all. Played in 15 games, 7 catches for 46 yards. So he really has been a late bloomer. He's just gotten better each year. 2022 and 2023 were the seasons where he got over 400 yards receiving. So those are the years that he can really speak of really doing much in the league. So he does have a couple acrobatic catches if you do look at his highlights, and he took some big hits. There was one play where Kyle Hamilton got ejected after hitting Chris Moore. So you look at his kick returns. He had a long kick return of 87 yards. That's the 2017 season I told you guys about. So he does give you some kick returning firepower, even though we may be getting Austin Eckler back sooner than later. And Luke McCaffrey's been doing a darn good job too. So you can look at him in the kick return game as well if they do elevate him. So you take a look at that. But another stat that I do like about him is first downs. 24 first downs in 2022 and then 16 first downs in 2023. Not a speed demon, but just a big vertical threat. He had 3 catches for 200-something yards in college against Ohio State, I believe, with Cincinnati. So this guy, he's a big play guy. He's a vertical threat. I do give him credit for that. Ran a 4.5 40-yard dash. Not going to call him an athletic freak or a speed demon or anything like that. He's 6'1", 200 pounds. 20-yard shuttle was a 4.20. But if you look at his relative athletic score, he was great in explosion grade, and that's where he's best at in vertically running routes. That's where he's best at. That's his bread and butter there, vertical routes. Just running in a straight line, kind of like what we talked about with De'Ami Brown, just running in a straight line, going downfield, catching the football. That's where he's best at. His broad jump was elite. His 3-cone drill was elite with 8.54 seconds. Broad jump 9.67 seconds, which was elite. And then he had a good overall grade. Speed rate was okay for the most part for all his relative athletic scores. Vertical jump was 37, which is pretty darn good. It was solid. And the kids are home because it's, holidays. But yeah, no, he all his grades are pretty solid for the most part. Nothing's like elite except for the explosiveness grade where he just runs in a straight line, just like De'Ami Brown. If De'Ami Brown can't go this weekend, then you got to have KJ Osborne out there. If KJ Osborne's not ready, who knows? This guy may be ready. You got to put him out there and just run a go ball, and Jaden Daniels definitely will deliver it because the Falcons don't really have much of a pass rush, guys, like I talked about. They don't really provide much of a pass rush at all. They just don't. Let's see here. Anything else about Chris Moore that I want to give you guys? Any information. So his strengths from his NFL draft combine write-up: has good size and long arms for his position, long strider with build-up speed used to get on top of cornerbacks who don't show him proper vertical respect. So 33% of his catches this season go for 25-plus yards and average almost 22 yards per catch over the last 2 seasons. Frame to break tackles in open field, not afraid to roam the middle of the field, adequate ball tracking skills, finds ball early, adjusts routes as needed, and flashes some ability to make the tough downfield catch. Size and speed may draw some interest from teams as well. But he's a one-trick vertical receiver who doesn't possess the elite speed that can compensate for his average hands and below average routes. So they basically cooked him in the write-up, but they did give him the vertical leap write-up or talent. They did talk about his not vertical leap, but his vertical route running is really good. Just that one-line speed. He's really good at that. Against the Cowboys, he had 10 catches for 124 yards in the 2022 season against the Cowboys. So he had a dominant game that game. He had 3 catches for 70 yards against the Giants. He had 4 catches for 43 yards against the Eagles in 2022, 3 catches for 63 yards and a 52-yard catch against the Bears in 2022. And he's played with like Davis Mills, Ryan Tannehill. So the quarterback play hasn't been great that he's seen. So Jaden Daniels and Joe Flacco are the best 2 quarterbacks that he's played with in his career. And Jaden Daniels is going to be the best quarterback that he's played with in his career. I know Joe Flacco did have a couple of good years where he did win a Super Bowl. So I'm not going to just put down Joe Flacco. But Jaden Daniels will be the best quarterback that he will potentially play with for sure. So, like I said, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what he can do, and if he does touch the field for the Commanders. So, like I said, would you rather sign Odell? But Chris Moore, it is what it is. Let's see what this guy can do. All right, let's talk about Nick Sirianni, man. Like, this guy is a darn goofball, man. He's a goofy guy, man. Like, I remember, like, he shaved his head. He was yelling at Eagles fans after they barely beat the Browns. I think it was the Browns. They barely beat them, and he was, like, pumping his chest and talking trash to Eagles fans. His own fan base he was talking trash to. That's how immature this guy is, man. Remember the camera against the Giants when they were winning? He was like, and did this. It's just goofy, man. I remember in the Super Bowl, too, when he was getting excited during the Super Bowl, and Jalen Hurts told him to chill out and calm down. Like, he's the only guy. And the fact that they have this security guard named Big Dom, the fact that he has to have a babysitter for every game, like, why is Big Dom the only security guard that we hear about? The Commanders want to hear about their security guards. The Cowboys want to hear about their security guards. We hear about their owner all the time. The Giants, any team, Ravens, any team you name, who knows their security guard? Why do we have to know who their security guard is? Why is it so important to know who Big Dom is? Because they have a guy, Nick Sirianni, and players, and a city and fan base that needs babysitting. They have a jail under the stadium, the Eagles. They eat horse poo when they won the Super Bowl because they don't know how to act. It's just a city of goofy, and I'm about to really go in. I don't want to. Just goofy, goofy A people, man. Goofy A people that know how. That's why I'm so happy we beat them too. They were crying because they're gonna blame it on Jalen Hurts. But the Eagles, man, they are the worst fan base. They boo Santa Claus. They boo Beyonce. The Sixers fans are terrible. What they did to Isaiah Thomas, Mighty IT went to the court and was about to fight a fan. Philly fans, they just don't know how to act, man. The whole fan base, the team, they don't know how to act, man. They really don't. They don't know how to act, man. Last part I'm gonna talk about here too, real quick. So this is the story. So Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni reached out to Zach Ertz to clear the air with the Washington Commanders tight end, per Jeff McClain of the Philadelphia Inquirer. McClain noted that Sirianni and Ertz had to be separated by Eagles chief security officer Dom DeSandro after Philly's 36-33 loss. Hold on 1 second. Had to be separated by Eagles chief security officer Dom DeSandro after Philly's 36-33 loss to Washington, with neither shedding any light on what they said to one another. The report could only offer that their brief dust-up saw Zach Ertz take exception to a comment Sirianni made about his performance in the game. So clearly, Nick Sirianni said something shady to Zach Ertz because Zach Ertz didn't have a great game. But Zach Ertz had a good game against the Eagles the first time. And Zach Ertz, his career with the Eagles was a darn good career. So for him to be disrespectful to a long-time Eagle player that put a lot of heart and effort into the city is very disrespectful by Nick Sirianni. And Zach Ertz wasn't playing that. We want the smoke, man. We want the smoke. And he's mad and he's salty they lost. He's mad and he's salty that they lost. So he's talking trash to Zach Ertz. And I love No Yak Zach, man, standing up for himself and not taking any smoke from Nick Sirianni at all. Nick Sirianni don't want to smoke. And Nick Sirianni called and apologized to Zach Ertz. So that's how I know. I didn't hear the conversation, but most likely Nick Sirianni was in the wrong for sure and said something outlandish for sure. And he can't control his locker room. A.J. Brown always crying all the time. Players crying all the time. Brandon Graham talking about Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown not getting along. And he can't even control his own locker room. The players don't respect him at all. So that's about it I got for that one, guys. I'm going to leave that alone. It is what it is. So they cleared everything up. But, man, like I said, the Eagles, man, if we do play, actually, I want them in the playoffs again. I want all the smoke, man. I want all the smoke. I want to go right into Philly and beat them in Philly in the playoffs, man. All right, you guys, as always, hope everybody enjoyed their Christmas. And have a great day. Happy holidays. Happy New Year coming up as well. Health Commanders. Peace.